What it do, homies? We out here with some new sleep token. This time we are checking out caramel or caramel, depending on how you want to pronounce it. You know, one thing that I saw when I was browsing Twitter is I saw a side of the fan base of Sleep Token's fan base. That wouldn't necessarily say, you know, or I guess I'll say that I didn't know existed, but it wasn't really a nice side. You know, something about this song that might have pissed some people off. Not too sure. We're going to get into it. I do have the lyrics right over here to my right. Make sure we're not missing anything. Let's go ahead, shut up, turn it up. And we got the fire guard here.
Out like sirens, payback for the good times. Right foot in the roses, left foot on a landmine. I'm not gonna be there, tripping on the grapevine. They can sing the words while I cry into the baseline. Wear me out like Prada, devil in my detail. I swear it's getting harder, even just to exhale. Backed up into corners, bitter in the lens. I'm sick of trying to hide it every time they take mine.
Okay, all right. So we got a couple of clues here. Right foot in the roses, left foot on a landmine, kind of like a give and take. Interesting choice of words right here. Right foot in the roses, right? You know, roses, good. Things are going great. Left foot on a landmine, things can explode at any moment. I can kind of look at this as, because they gained in popularity, right? I think about last year or whatnot, right? Last year, huge fan base, right? I reacted to some of their songs and I didn't know how strong their fan base was and everything. So it really, really did explode. As a matter of fact, I went down a whole entire rabbit hole, somewhat of a rabbit hole. I react to a good chunk of their songs. I like the way that they write and everything. So they kind of blew up, you know. So that's why I kind of think when I say on the landmine, but you know, sometimes that blow up is too much, right? You blow up too fast, right? There is a thing that's called, you know, getting famous too fast. They either call you a plant or they say, you know, something's, you know, your music can't be that good. You know what I'm saying? Something has to happen. Nobody blows up this fast. You know what I mean? And then the right foot in the roses is that it is a good thing, right? It's just how much of a good thing. What kind of blow are we talking about here? Another thing, they can sing the words while I cry into the bass line. That's an interesting lyric right there because, you know, bass lines pretty much provide the foundation to a song. It's mostly the presence is felt, right? It's not really like super impactful, depending on the genre, but it's not like super impactful, like higher registries, because we higher register melodies because we hear those better than we hear bass lines. Bass lines exist in the lower frequencies. So it's essentially just saying when he says he's crying into the bass line, that he's crying at a frequency that you can't hear. So he's silently crying, right? And it says they can sing the words. So, hey, you're enjoying my music and everything, but the impact it's having on me, I'm gonna keep it at a low while I keep churning this type of stuff out here. And wear me out like Prada. I like that as well, right? The interesting choice of saying Prada, right? So we're talking like name brand, like wear them out like Prada. So comparing possibly Sleep Token to their success to, you know, another not high fashion, but higher kind of band, like more and more established band, if you will. And the devil in detail, getting harder, even just to excel. So I think as far as dealing with this success they're getting into, yeah, okay, let's get into the chorus.
Trying to hide it every time they take mine. So stick to me like caramel. Walk beside me till you feel nothing as well. They ask me, is it going good in a
You know, the way that he says, the way that he stuck out the caramel, I love that he did that, right? He added kind of like that buttery, sticky, kind of smooth, the way that he sung it out, right? He could have just said it normally, but that attention to how he's saying caramel, I love that. Walk beside me till you feel nothing as well, right? What's that? What's that about? Walk beside me, right? So imagine you are a new band, right? And you get all this success. eventually you'll get used to it. It's kind of like that old adage saying where you say, if you make a hit, then hooray. And then if I make a hit, then it's Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? It gets to the point to where you keep making hits and hits and hits and hits. After all, that first initial excitement that you had when we first blew up kind of just, it's kind of like, all right, where do I go from here? I've experienced this success myself. The fans kind of see that as well, right? They're along with you. They're super excited about what you released. And then time goes on, you'll still have some of your dedicated fans, but some of them might not have that feeling anymore. They might not feel that way. They might move off. They might move away. You know what I mean? Not feel and go on to the next thing. So it's a different feeling for the creator and the consumer, but they're related, if you will. So. What? So I do know that they go by numerals, right? And they want to hide, they want to make this music in anonymity, anonymously, right? I'll just use that word and everything. I didn't know that. That's a very scummy thing to do, guys. For any of you that are watching this reaction, to start yelling out people's names, right? They ain't really your fans out there, right? They're just out there trying to get a rise out of you. But that sucks, guys. That really does suck if that's you that's doing that. That's people just trying to make good music. It's always those type of people that try to, take away a really, really good thing. But let's finish out this verse before we go into it. Ooh, okay. All right. So is it going good in the garden? How success? Says, I'm lost, but I beg no pardon, right? I'm lost, but, I wouldn't have it any other way. Saying my part, beg a pardon. Or I think up on the dice, but low on the cards, up on a high. We say low on the cards, which means I like to think of that. It's like while you're riding this high, there might be some people that want you to continue to keep putting out, but these things kind of take time. And even if you do put stuff out, what's that old saying where they say you're only as good as your last song or something like that? Like it's a good song, but you don't know if it'll be your last song or something like that. So low on the cards. I think they're pretty much talking about what the newfound success looks like, right? Looking sideways at my own visage, getting worse. Oh, and I think the most important thing that he said in here is that that's what I get for having 20/20 hindsight, right? So having a clear vision. Some people want to be anonymous. They don't want to be hounded by, people. They want to be able to make the music they want and not have their identity attached to it. Right. And that's what he wanted. The 20/20 hindsight, right? This is how I want to do things. But of course, there's always consequences that comes with it, whether you're anonymous or not. Kind of look at Dream, right? Somebody who didn't discover their face. He probably had 20/20 hindsight. Then that just kind of went away, right? Everybody wants eyes on them. I just want to hear you see that top line. Focus on the music. That's what he wants you to do. Focus on the music. Stop trying to focus on who this person is. Right? He's just trying to release some good music. So, when I was telling you guys about, I seen a different side of the fan base that I haven't seen before. I think I'm getting it. There might be some people that listen to this and might feel some type of way. But I 100% understand. Says that, man, it's beautiful. Huh.
Too blessed to be caught ungrateful, I know. So I'll keep dancing along to the rhythm.
Ooh. Ooh. That's an amazing way of kind of right too young to get bitter over it all because you don't know if it's the worst of it, right? Get bitter over it all and too old to retaliate like before. So they are kind of stuck about how to process this newfound fame. I love it when artists take the things that are troubling themselves in their life and they turn to music because your music is an ultimate therapy. You know what I'm saying? And it's a vulnerable part of you. You know, so if you want to communicate that to your fans, this is one of the best ways to kind of do it and everything, right? Too blessed to be caught ungrateful. I know. Keep dancing along to the rhythm. We can't imagine what it's like kind of being in their situation. So that's why they're giving us these wonderful words, this wordplay. I think they're doing a pretty good job. We're never going to know. Some of us aren't as famous as them or know what it's like to experience fame and how to deal with it. Because I know a lot of people want to be famous, but there's a lot of stuff that comes with it. It really is. And most people would tell you that, your private life, is pretty much out of there. You know what I'm saying? When you become a celebrity, it's not always something people can deal with and everything. I think they're doing a pretty good job. They're still releasing music, putting their problems in their lyrics is what I like to see, right? Because the alternative, right, it can be dangerous. So, this kind of sounds like a song to the fans about how they're feeling about their success.
So I'll keep dancing along to the rhythm. The stage is a prison, a beautiful nightmare, a war of attrition. I'll take what I'm given, the deepest incisions. I thought I got better, but maybe I didn't.
Man, look, bro. Oh, I love the screams, man. It's not the fact that they screamed it. It's 100% the mix and how it's portrayed. You feel the intensity, you feel the aggression, you feel the anger. You know what I mean? You feel like kind of been betrayed, right? I thought things have changed, but everything's the same. You know what I mean? I tried to prevent this, but it's still happening, right? It's the way that it's mixed because it's still coming through so soft, but you feel the impact, right? This is the crying into the bass line right here. Because, I've listened to a lot of metal on this channel and those screams, well, come on now. Some people put a lot of impact into that, but they did the opposite. They kind of mixed it. It's like, it's perfectly mixed. This is like one of them terms where something sits in the mix and they added that nice little reverb to make it really sound like they're yelling in here, but it feels like a cry from help heard at a distance. Boom. There it is right there. A cry for help heard at a distance, but you can't hear it over all this other noise, right? Over the top line of the melody, over all this success, but I am crying and I want you to hear this. That's why it was mixed that way. I gotta listen to that again. That was beautiful.
a beautiful nightmare, a war of attrition. I'll take what I'm given, the deepest incisions. I thought I got better, but maybe I didn't.
Oh, hey, look. It's the same thing we saw in oh, wow. Okay. Okay. So let's look at the meaning of this song now. See how far off I was. Caramel lyrics meaning. All right, so here we go. I see somebody said that the song explores self-awareness and the struggle with perception versus reality. So struggling with the new, okay, all right. So struggling with the newfound success, right? The 2020 vision, that line kind of hits right now. Perception versus reality. This is how I see things, is how I think things are going to go based off my level of perception. But here is what the reality is. Okay, I'm not going to read too much into that. You know, I just wanted to see if I was like super far off or something like that. Another brilliant song by Sleep Token. You let me know what y'all thought about this down in the comments. Dave's out.